We'll be dipping in and out throughout the show, so have your say. Let's just get straight into it raw then. It looks like Mbeumo is imminent. It looks like it could happen at any moment. It looks like we could even get a here we go from the likes of Fab today. Get in there, my son. That's what it looks like. Now, obviously, we'll have to wait and see what actually materialises. But let's get into the latest updates. So, Ben Jacobs reporting a little while ago, about an hour or so ago, that United are getting closer to signing Bryan Mbeumo. United want to confirm Mbeumo before returning for pre-season on July 7th. Second offer of £60 million plus, not far off Brentford's expectations, with add-ons being discussed. And then there was a report here from Marco Alcaraz that said, this was an hour or so ago, that said, breaking, Bryan Mbeumo to Manchester United is said to be imminent after a breakthrough in negotiations this morning. And then, a little short while after, he's posted this just before we've gone live, a little bit before we gone live. Exclusive, Manchester United have reached an agreement with Brentford to sign Bryan Mbeumo. Deal for 25-year-old attacker worth under 65 million total package. Personal terms already in place and permission given to do medical. Paperwork stage and then official club announcement. This is from Marco Alcaraz just a short while before. But then, you know, as I say, most of it is still... We're waiting for the top journalists, no disrespect, but we're waiting for the top journalists, you know, the likes of Fabrizio Romano, to give it a cheeky here we go, which could happen during this show. It could happen today. Or, of course, David Ornstein, no disrespect to anybody here, such as Ben Jacobs or Marco Alcaraz or anybody like that. But let's face it, you know, there's a lot of stuff that gets said, and I'm more interested in stuff that gets done. And let's face it, if you're going on hit rate and who's to sort of, you know, to whose words to really sort of hinge on, then we've got to wait for Fab, we've got to wait for David Ornstein, we've got to wait for those sorts of guys. But this is very, very positive stuff. Reports that United have reached an agreement with Brentford to sign Bryan Mbeumo. Also, let's have a little look at some of the other journalist reports. So this is from Rudy Galletti, that says that Mbeumo to United is entering the crucial phase. United are confident the last bid's enough. Brentford still want a bit more on bonuses, 2 million, but it doesn't appear to be a deal breaker. So everyone is reporting that it's very close after another sort of positive round of negotiations this morning. Jamie Jackson from The Guardian reported an hour ago that United are close on the 60 million plus deal to buy Brentford's Bryan Mbeumo. This is reported by Jamie Jackson in The Guardian. So, you know, obviously lots and lots of positive stuff coming out today. It seems like this deal is imminent, which means that, you know, it can happen at any time. Could be today that we do indeed hear a cheeky little here we go from the likes of Fab. And you know, obviously we've got to wait. I mean, I've noticed the last couple of weeks, you know, Marco Alcaraz is quite a good source for Manchester United stuff. And often if there's something that's been said, such as an agreement in terms or anything like that, then shortly afterwards, the likes of Fabi do get on the case with similar sorts of news. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see if that happens during this show. But we're expecting a potential here we go from Fab today. So fingers crossed, guys. Get in there. I'm buzzing. Let's ask the live chat, though. Let's say that this deal does cost, it's supposed to be worth just under £65 million. Let's call it 63 million. That is a figure that's been bandied around quite a lot lately for this deal, and it sounds about right. Let's just say 63 million for Bryan Mbeumo. He scored 20 goals last season, 8 assists. In fact, there are only 3 players in the Premier League who scored more goals than him last season. And he was doing it for a lesser team in Brentford. So obviously a very good talent with effective stats, etc. But let's give this rating out of 10 in terms of a transfer. How happy are you? 10 being the maximum happiness, you know, like when we signed Robin van Persie from Arsenal for 20 mil. And then this guy for 65 million or 63 million from Brentford. Get your thoughts in. You know, give it a rating out of 10 in terms of how good you think this transfer is. Honestly, I think we've got to give it a good old solid 8.5, maybe even a 9 out of 10. Because although the money's quite high, you're getting Premier League proven goals. You're getting a quality player in his middle 20s, 25, who's got his best years ahead of him, and he's already shown his effectiveness for a much lesser team. No disrespect to Brentford, obviously they were better than us last season, but in terms of as an actual club, size, etc., you know, he's already shown he can do it for a lesser team in the Premier League. So if you can do it for a lesser team in the Premier League, surely you can do it for a better team in the Premier League, which is what Manchester United is hoping to be this season. Hello Hamza Patel, get in there my son. Johnny says 10 out of 10. He's bloody loving it, lad. He's bloody loving it. 10 out of 10 says top dog. Top player 7. Great signing for me. 8 out of 10. 8.5. 10. 8 to 10. 6, 7. 8.6, 9 out of 10, 10 because he's good. And it's a transfer. That's right, Dunk. Very well said, really. You know, we needed him to come in here. Very good player with great stats, and obviously you needed to get it done reasonably early at the start of the window. Hopefully it will be officially announced very soon, and maybe he can come in at the start of July. Definitely need him in there before pre-season. Yep, 8, 10, and Mbeumo money will well spent. I think you're right. I mean, some people would say, oh, we spent a lot of money for an average player. There's nothing really average about him, though. You know, if you look at the stats, his stats are not average at all. Like, I see some people not the most happiest about signing Mbeumo for this amount of money. Some people, like, who was it? Was it you, United for Life? No, I can't remember who it was. Somebody at the start of the show said that Mbeumo's gash, basically, and it's a bit too much money. But his stats say a different story. You know, he should bring a lot to the table. And also, you know, you think about what Amorim's trying to do in Amorim's system. He's clearly highlighted these two guys right at the start of the window, at the end of last season, as the two number 10s that he wants to front Manchester United's team, to be in the first team, to be our proper number 10s. None of this Mason Mount guff. None of this shoehorning players in rubbish. No, get rid of the likes of Rashford, Sancho and Garnacho. Get in Mbeumo and Cunha. Now, that is a great start to the window as long as we can build on it and then go and get, you know, goalkeeper, striker, other positions sorted. But I'm feeling very optimistic about this season coming ahead if we can do that because, you know, as I said, it adds a shitload of goals into the team. There's not the case of round peg square holes that Ruben Amorim had to deal with last time around with, you know, players being there at the football club that he didn't want, who were not right for his system, therefore having to sort of loan players out as well, you know, didn't really want to be there, or also having issues with players, but certainly these players, a lot of them, just not fitting in the system. Garnacho, great young talent, doesn't fit in Amorim's system. He's not a 10 or a wing-back. Rashford, you know, he could be utilised well for a top team. Doesn't really fit in Amorim's system unless you're going to play him at number 9, and he's not clinical enough, and his attitude sucks. Jadon Sancho, out of the three of them, might be one of the only ones that could play, maybe like centre forward for you, or, you know, or number 10 for you. But even still, he doesn't really fit in an Amorim system. So those three melts made way, get rid, and then we've made way for the new boys, which is going to be Cunha and Mbeumo. And between them, they banged 35 goals last season. So it's pretty clear what Amorim's ideas are, you know, in terms of replacing the players that don't fit his system with players that do fit his system, with players that can play at the number 10, that are effective in creation and scoring goals. He's already highlighted that from their performances last season for their respective clubs. So, you know, it's a great start to the window for Amorim to get Mbeumo and Cunha, if that's indeed what's going to happen. And then beyond that, there's still a lot of work to do, obviously. The start of July is when you'll see a big flurry of outgoings for Manchester United. Garnacho will probably be going. Sancho will probably be going. Rashford will probably be going. You know, so there will be quite an early flurry at the beginning of July, which leads me to believe that we'll spend some of that money generated on a goalkeeper, on a striker, maybe other positions addressed as well. Maybe a cheeky little midfielder, who knows? So it's all positive stuff, guys. The news that's coming out, I'll keep an eye on, and I would appreciate if you guys could maybe keep an eye on for me while I'm waffling on here. But I will keep an eye on the latest information that's coming out, obviously, today during the show. Marco Alcaraz 7 minutes ago reports breaking. Brentford have given the green light to Bryan Mbeumo to undergo his medical at Manchester United. Get in there. Okay. Come on then, Fabi. Come on then, Fabi or Ornsteiny. Let's go. Anyway, so yes, brilliant news, guys. Agreement reportedly being reached between Man United and Brentford, somewhere in the region of 63 or somewhere between 60 and 65 million pounds. It adds quality to our team. It adds depth as well in that position. Even if you can't, you know, sell players, we've still got players like Mount and Xerxes and Bruno who can all play in that sort of number 10 role. Even Diallo, he's probably going to be utilised more as a right wing back, flying at defenders. But still, you know, you've got a lot of depth there in that position. Bruno's probably going to be dropping deeper down to play in the midfield too, which may or may not work out well. I think it will work out well if he's got the right partner alongside him there to do a lot of the defensive sitting duties. Bruno Fernandes has got an engine on him. He can get around, he can win tackles, he gets stuck in, and he can spread play with more space in front of him as well. So in the 10, it's tighter. You know, he's still the one trying to make all the through balls and all that sort of stuff for us. But deeper, I think Bruno can play that playmaking role for us very nicely, personally. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. But it wouldn't hurt for us to get another centre mid in there. Yeah, exactly, Disco Dave. That's it. Talented Premier League player and goal scorer. Proven. proven. You know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get with this one. And, of course, we had issues last season with goal scoring. You had Højlund up top there, literally managing to get a handful of goals all season. Behind him, it wasn't that much better. Amad Diallo had a good, decent season in terms of contributions. I think he just got into double figures, didn't he, for goals, or thereabouts. Bruno Fernandes, obviously, Bruno Fernandes, whatever people want to say, but he's still got quite a lot of goals. But out of everybody in the team, there just really wasn't anyone that really did have a great goal-scoring vein of form throughout the season. And Mbeumo and Cunha, though, they did. And so bringing them to our team should hopefully add a lot more goals. The idea here with getting these players, of course, we've got to strengthen elsewhere in the team. We don't want Flubberhands in goal. What's the point of having these two if you're going to start the new season with Flubberhands in goal? But this will add a heck of a lot of goals to our team, or at least it should. And if you look at the goal difference, we had -12. It's an abomination. This should get us another 30-plus goals throughout the season, in my opinion. You look at what they did for Brentford with, between them, 35 added goals. Should guarantee us a lot more goals than what we had. Players who are comfortable playing in that sort of 10 in an Amorim system. Players who are comfortable going wide when they have to go wide and finding an end product, but also comfortable banging the ball in the back of the net and getting on the end of balls when they can, to score goals. This is what they have to do. They're both creators and attackers. And they've also got good footballing IQs and are hard workers, particularly in Mbeumo, just absolutely never stops. So those guys should add us a lot of dynamism up there and a lot of goals. We're 8 away from 100 likes, so thank you, Stephanie Griffith. We've got 300 legends in here right now. Welcome aboard this afternoon. We've got plenty to get into, guys. And we're expecting maybe a cheeky little here we go from Fab or somebody like that during this show. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. But if you are just getting in the show, do as Stephanie says. Hit the thumbs up button. Give us a like, Spike. Help us get to 100 likes. Also, give us a share and get yourself subscribed. We're on here every single day with all the latest United news updates, breaking stuff. We're only 40 people away from 91,000 subscribers as well. So if you are here for the first time, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below. It's free. It's free. We do need to sell Remster, certainly, especially with, these players coming in now. That's all of our budget basically eaten up. 125, 130 million, somewhere in that region, is probably the most we could have expected to spend this summer, having failed to get Champions League qualification and where we finished and just how much debts we've got in terms of paying for previous signings, etc. Still. So, yes, the budget's probably used up now with Cunha and Mbeumo. In order to sign other players, Manchester United are going to have to get some outgoings, in motion, with the likes of Garnacho generating 50 mil, maybe Rashford 40 mil, or loan deal with an obligation maybe in the future. Anthony Dos Santos 35 mil, Højlund 35 mil, whatever. There's lots of players still that we have to do work on to get out. I believe it was a bit difficult to get these players gone before the 1st of July with this whole PSR update nonsense. Other clubs are not too willing to spend in this financial year, it seems, when the new financial year is 5-6 days away. And actually, in regards to United, in terms of officially done, it's probably not going to be officially done until the start of July, so it can be put into the new year. So that's probably quite realistic. Jens, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's get some big love in there for Jens. Thank you very much. He says, yo, can you tell me who goes and comes so far? Thanks. So far, who comes? Only Mateus Cunha. Obviously, Diego Leon's lined up as well. But other than that, Mbeumo's about to be done, hopefully. It's imminent. That's what the reports are. Deal could be done here, but obviously waiting for confirmation further. In terms of outgoings, we've had Lindelof leave the football club. There's actually been some stuff going around on United's socials and stuff, bidding farewell to Viktor Lindelof. Let's get some love and applauses in there and maybe some Swedish emojis. Fair play to you, lad. Oh, Swedish friend. But let's face it, he's been a bag average player for us, if we're honest. Good riddance, no disrespect, nice guy. Did well at times, but not good enough for our centre-backs, no. Other than that, obviously, Johnny Evans has left. He may be staying on in a staff role, though. And beyond that, who else? Somebody else left as well, guys. Jonathan Evans. Anyway, listen, we haven't got anybody outgoing who we want to get outgoing, meaning the players to sell, the transfers to generate cash. Ericsson, that was it, Josh, thank you. Christian Eriksen as well. So we've got rid of a few players, but those are just players who've left for nothing. Yes, they are off of our books. Yes, they do free up a little bit of cash and a little bit of space in the team to then go and strengthen. But centre-back is definitely a concern for me because of the injury issues that we have. So if we are going to strengthen anywhere beyond the goalie and the striker, centre-back, midfield, wing-back, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. But anyway, thank you so much there, Jenks. Nobody's yet, Evans left also yet. Nobody is unfortunately sold just yet. Everyone wants Sancho, says Frank Lyford. Quite a few people want Sancho, it does seem, lad. Yes, so if we have a little look at some of the news on Sancho that's come out today as well. So there's news that Jadon Sancho's already given Juventus the green light amid transfer talks. Juventus are interested in him. Rudy, a couple of hours ago, said that Fenerbahce currently the team working hardest to sign Sancho, but they know it won't be a quick deal and it will take patience. Talks with Man United aren't an issue, but both the club and Jadon have a clear strategy on personal terms. You know, Sancho might be wanted by a lot of players, by a lot of teams, but ultimately his wage demands are probably going to scupper a lot of these deals. By the way, this is another update from Valentin Fernand that came out a short while ago. It says that deal between United and Brentford for Bryan Mbeumo now only pending add-on structure. So all the journalists are talking a lot about this deal being very close today. There isn't, as I say, Ornstein or a Fabrizio Bomba just yet. But like we have Ben Jacobs reporting that it's very much getting closer, and United want to confirm Mbeumo before the pre-season kicks off on the 7th of July. Marco Alcaraz, who so far has been pretty spot on with his updates throughout the summer, has said Manchester United have reached an agreement with Brentford to sign Bryan Mbeumo. So, you know, everyone's reporting this, guys, that there's some advancements taking place and that this deal is imminent. We're just sort of coming on here now, hoping, waiting for the updates from Fab or someone like that. What we'll do, we'll get into the live chat for a few minutes. I have got a bunch of other news as well, you know, in regards to other players and stuff like that, and bits and bobs. Like Marco says that after wrapping up the Bryan Mbeumo deal with Brentford, United will accelerate their efforts for securing a striker while simultaneously offloading 2 to 3 players. We'll get into another bunch of updates that we do indeed have, but for now I'm just going to get into the live chat for a few minutes, just so we can chew the fat on this Mbeumo deal situation. So get your thoughts in for a few minutes. Let's have your say on Mbeumo. How are you feeling about this news that it's imminently going to be done soon? Let's go. And we've just hit 147 likes. Let's go. Ronnie O'Sullivan level of likes there. Thank you so much. TK, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel, TK. Get some big old love in there for TK now. Thank you for supporting the channel. Very kind of you, my friend. Everyone, get some love in there. Welcome him aboard. Welcome him aboard there, please. Yep, so it's looking very much close to being done, this one. You just joined. Do we have any? Here we go. I mean, not from Fab just yet. No, Hendricks, no. But updates from the likes of Marco Alcaraz saying that Manchester United have reached an agreement with Brentford to sign Bryan Mbeumo. So, you know, we're hoping that that's going to be very soon, maybe even during the show. Yes, big up, Remster. How you doing? Our Pig, looking forward to this. Me too. Should hopefully transform the way we go about things next season with a bit of bottle in the team. And as much as I like players like, you know, Ahmad and Garnacho and some of these guys, they don't have the experience that the likes of Cunha and Mbeumo do. They're older, they're further developed. You know, it makes a big difference. You need players who can come in and actually sort of like deal with the pressure and have the experience within the league and all that sort of stuff. Not that those guys are not great young players, but still, it would be nicer, wouldn't it? It would be nicer to get them in. Thank you so much, TK. I appreciate that, you legend. Yes, Panache says it's an excellent signing. I have to agree. With you. Just because we're getting closer doesn't mean it's a here we go today. No, it doesn't mean it's a here we go today, Flash Farm, no. But, I mean, there are reports that it's basically done. So we're expecting a here we go today, but it doesn't mean that there will be. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. So some of the reports are saying that pretty much the deal is agreed, but there's still a couple of million in terms of add-ons that they're trying to figure out. That's what other people are saying as well. So, look, obviously we have to remain a little bit cautious, but at the moment I think you can say it's almost there, mate. It's almost there. Yes, Sovereign Saint said we need to hold out for a good fee for Garnacho, but just get Rashford, Sancho and Cassie out of the door and off the books. That's my idea as well. I would like to see Rashford, Sancho and Garnacho all sold on the 4th of July. And then United put a hashtag Independence Day on our socials because we're finally free of those absolute toxic, melty, blood-sucking, money-sucking, egomaniac diva melters. You know, that would be brilliant, wouldn't it? if we could get them all gone right at the start of July. That's what we want to do, really. It's going to be difficult. I think those deals are going to take time. I really do. But I think it would be awesome and symbolic and awesome to get them gone before pre-season starts. Who wants Alejandro Garnacho flopping up to Carrington, you know, with his light bulb, bloody Slim Shady 1999 haircut and his prison break tattoos with a massive sulk on? You know, we just want him gone before that day. Who wants Marcus Rashford turning up like he's lost a bet in terms of a deal with Vivienne Westwood to turn up dressed like a fashionista melt bag? Eh? Who's going to want to see Jadon Sancho rocking up in his fucking Bentley, coming to the start of pre-season there with his eyes on moving and not wanting to be a Manchester United player and never having done so, even though we paid him £300 a week, the toe rag. You know, so we don't want those guys coming back to pre-season. We want them gone before then. That's my fervent hope. I don't think I've ever used the word fervent before on here. That's right, we're going in there raw today, guys. That is my fervent hope, that these three melters are gone before pre-season adjourns, you know. Once we get them all back together, we don't want those toxic expletives in the facility. That's what we don't want. We want to just kick on with our new signings, kick on with a new sense of camaraderie around the club. No egos, no prima donnas, no melters. I mean, you're not going to be able to get rid of them all at this stage. But as I said, there's a definite difference between Antony and Højlund in terms of their attitudes. They've always kept their heads down, work hard. You know, there's a big difference between them and the likes of Gascho, Garnacho, and Rashford. These are it's obviously massively different for those guys. So those guys have proven themselves to be very much toxic individuals. They don't help the team, and also they cause waves and they cause problems for managers, and they've proven themselves to do that. So certainly those three out by the beginning of pre-season is a dream. I don't think it will happen, because I still think there's a lot to do in terms of trying to get buying clubs to actually reach an agreement with the likes of Rashford or Sancho in terms of wages. Garnacho might be a little bit of an easier sale, especially with thoughts of maybe players coming in the opposite direction. If he's going to the likes of Villa, perhaps Martinez, perhaps Ollie Watkins, or Napoli, cheeky bit of Osman action, whatever. There could be something to be done there. I doubt it. But Garnacho might be an easier sell. He's 20, he's younger, his wages aren't a lot really. But compared to the other guys, obviously they're going to be much more difficult to move on. And that's true, Matthew. That's absolutely true. So Garnacho cost us peanuts from Atletico Madrid when he was a kid, and in terms of profit, there you go. If we got 50 million for him, it would be like 49.5 million profit or whatever it is. So you're absolutely right, that would help us out big styly. Same goes for Rashford as well, actually. Rashford is an academy product. Rashford's obviously just somebody that we've developed, so everything that we generate from Rashford would be good money generated in terms of just organically from the club. However, we have had to pay that melter multiple millions of pounds a year. We need positive characters to dominate the toxic criminals. Yep, spot on, lad. Absolutely. Hope Garnacho ends up like Januzaj. He could well do that, couldn't he? That's it. You know, I mean, it's interesting what can happen with a player leaving Manchester United. Look at Anthony Elanga. Anthony Elanga was down in the pecking order behind the likes of Rashford and Garnacho just a couple of years ago. Old Dutch conehead Erik ten Hag himself, with his great player judgment abilities, allowed him to go for hardly any money whatsoever. At least we are potentially going to get 20% of the sale back from that deal if that does happen. But yeah, I mean, obviously players can either go on and they can flourish, just like Anthony Elanga has, if they show the right attitude, hard work and mentality, etc. Or they can go and flop big time, such as Adnan Januzaj, or many players really that have left Manchester United. But a lot of them seem to do quite well after leaving us. But it can go one or two ways. So Garnacho could turn into a world star still. He still does have massive potential. If it wasn't down to him being a little bit of a prat, if it wasn't down to his bad attitude, and obviously causing waves for Amorim and all that sort of stuff at the end of the season, if it wasn't for that, I'd still want him at the football club, even if he doesn't quite fit in Amorim's system perfectly, because I know there's a great player in there and he's only 20, you know, but he just seems like a bit too much of a tit to want to keep around the place. And that's just a sad reality. Like, you have to have a good mentality to be a United player. Yes, guys, we're nearly at 200 likes. Thank you, everyone who's got in here. Keep hitting the thumbs up button. Yes, we're going to read a couple more comments before we move on. We're also only 25 subscribers away now from 91k. Can we do it during this show? Give us a cheeky little like spike and help us get there today. Anyway, so if you're just joining us, let me do a quick rundown of what the latest updates are, and I'll just have another quick look, see if anything else has come out during this show. Doesn't look like it from anyone that we're keenly interested in, such as... or actually, Jamie Jackson has responded to the Guardian's post a couple of hours ago saying Man United close on 60 million plus deal to buy Brentford's Mbeumo, and he's just responded on it 15 minutes ago saying, P.S. Brentford expect this to happen. So Brentford, surely they are close to reaching an agreement with Manchester United now, it does seem. Surely they can't be that far away. There still is no concerns of other teams going in to try and steal him at the moment. I guess there could be an 11th hour bid from someone who would like to try and get him. But at the moment, Brentford, the only club that they're working with is, of course, Manchester United. So, it's about to be agreed. It's not done yet, though, guys, but it is about to be agreed. I mean, it depends who you believe. There's lots of reports going around. Jamie Jackson of The Guardian reporting that it's very close. Brentford are expected to accept. Marco Alcaraz here says Manchester United have reached an agreement with Brentford to sign Mbeumo. Deal for 25-year-old attacker worth under 65 million total package. But obviously, let's just see how the rest cover it over the next sort of hour or so. Brentford costs, yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? 5.8 million to Brentford. We need some signings that can increase in their value in time. Sick of paying 50 million plus. A fair play. Well, that's where a youngster like Garnacho has shown to be a good deal for us. And if we sign players who are a bit younger, we shouldn't be looking at signing 31-year-old, 30-year-old players like Casemiro anymore. Definitely not. We should be looking at players who are up and coming, or at least ready to take the step up in their middle 20s, like Mbeumo and Cunha. So if Mbeumo and Cunha want to leave Manchester United in 2 or 3 years' time, unless they've absolutely fallen off a cliff in terms of form, which they probably won't have because they're good players, but they always still generate a lot of money for this football club, won't they, selling them. Whereas when you sign players, like Casemiro for 70 million and he's close to the end of his career, that's just money down the shitter. You're not going to get any of that money back. He'll just be leaving on a free transfer or for a very tiny fee to a different club at the end, near the end of his deal. And so those sorts of deals we've got to get away from. We have to start, like you say, finding deals, finding players that are actually going to add value to us long term. Why can't we develop players? Why can't we sign, Andy Robertson type players that Liverpool obviously got there and stuff like that in order to generate cash in the future? That's definitely a good call. Yes, we do, T-Mills. We do need the Here We Go from Fab. Thank you, David B, for subscribing to the channel. Disco says, out of all of them mentioned, I wouldn't mind Cassie staying one more season. Can still create magic. Yeah, let's have a little vote in the chat, guys. Keep or sell Casemiro. I would keep him as well, because he's got a year left on his deal. He will be leaving us for free. There's talks of maybe a move to Saudi on the cards for him this summer. I can't see him really wanting to do that when he's got a year left at United. He's on big money here. I suppose he could make more money over there when you factor in the no tax if he stays there for 2 seasons. That means he could make more money over there. But it's unlikely going to be that much more money because United are paying him over £300,000 a week. He's got a tremendous deal at United. So, it's probably unlikely he'll get the money elsewhere. He's still going to play and feature in Manchester United's team. Like Disco Dave said, the last few months, Casemiro has shown himself to still be a quality player for us. Someone that can absolutely help us and help us win games. He did that many times. His run up to the Europa League final was brilliant. He was shite in the Europa League final, but his run up to it was brilliant. And he was a very key player for us for the last few months. So I know he can still do a job. Look, that sort of class doesn't leave you overnight. He's still a very good player, make no mistake. And he's not tremendously old. He's just getting on a bit now, and it is close to the twilight of his career. But also, the quality's still there. You can see that. So as a squad player, I would keep him. Ezio says sell. Keep, says Tom. Thing is, selling him's not really going to generate much money. It is going to leave you with a place in the squad that you're going to need to replace, which means we'll get a new signing, and it will get you a little bit of money, and it will save you a lot of money. I guess that's the most attractive idea of selling Casemiro, is that the amount that you'll save every month in terms of wages is millions. So that is very favourable, I suppose. Sell ASAP, sell immediately. Keep, if Saudi backs out, sell Piggy. We should cash in now on Casemiro. Fair enough. Well, if we can get any sort of decent money for him, 10 or 15 million, it probably would be quite a sensible time to cash in. And then there's 300,000 a week saved as well, which is over 12, 14 million a year sort of money. It's a heck of a lot of money. So this guy is definitely a bit of a drain on the resources. But then again, he was a quality player. I'd keep him as a squad player this season. I don't really care about the fact that he'll be leaving us on a free. We probably won't be able to get much money for him now anyway. But if it was 15 million, then I would probably be tempted to sell, because that is a decent offer for someone who will be leaving us in a year. And then maybe we can go and put that towards, I don't know, an Adam Wharton type player. Who knows? Somebody for the future for us. Keep Quasimodo as a bench player for a year. Sell. Possibly keep him if we can't get better now. Sell to Saudi. Yeah, Casemiro ain't going nowhere. 350k a week. That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah, he's got a sweet deal at United. Sell him and buy Yoko. Keep, sell. Yes, again, absolutely, 100%. Get in there, my son. Get rid. Keep Cassie for another season. Sell, seen as we are Europe. MB says, oh my God, begging interaction again. Get a life, you silly little loser. Who's this you're talking to, MB Creator? Best not be talking to me, Pratt. Yeah? What does MB stand for? Mega bastard? Not begging interaction, mate. We've got people interacting anyway. I'll tell you what I'm doing by asking the live chat keeper, sell Cassie. I am including the live chat in this show, lad, in the interaction of the show, lad. That's what I'm doing. Oh, yes. It's a fully interactive show, lad. If you don't like it, mega bastard, get out, lad. You know what I mean? If you don't like it, you don't have to be here, my son. People want to vote, mate. People want to have their say. I'm letting people have their say here, my friend. Okay, he's no Modric. Modric, what a player. He's just signed for AC, hasn't he? Big move, big move. Probably do absolutely bits out there. Making too much money, 350k a week. Saudi always pays big money, piggy. Who not sell him and get off the wages? Why not sell him and get him off the wages? Okay, fair enough. I feel you on that one. But again, it's like he's already on massive money at United. Unless he's going to get significantly more. Is a Saudi team prepared to pay, what, £400,000-500,000 a week to him to go and play? Because otherwise he'll probably end up staying. His family's settled here. He's here. You know, he's only got a year left. In a year's time, he could probably get just as good a deal. You know, maybe even a bit better, because there's no initial transfer fee. So if he just stays at United, gets £350k a week, and then in a year's time, what happens is he can leave on as a free agent, probably have more options, probably be able to get just as much money. If I was him, I'd stay. But in all fairness, you know, like, it does depend on money. And if he wants to follow the money, if Man United want to sell, if we do get a decent offer, then it makes sense. But again, the money could certainly be, too good to turn down if they are offering him £400,000 or £500,000 a week. And as we said, over a couple of years, if he stays there for 2 years, then it becomes tax-free earnings, which makes it a lot more money. So perhaps, you know, Casemiro could be tempted, and if we push him out the door, i.e., you know, we do manage to get some money for him, and so we encourage him to go, then I would imagine, you know, that we could see that happening, I suppose, but it's still more likely, I think, he stays at the moment. Stephen Shipman, he says, keep for squad, sell 15 million if possible. I like your style, I do. Tommy Boyle, welcome in, you legend. I hope you're doing good. Really, the old new FIFA games in the works. Nice one, Tommy Ad. B&G, how you getting on, my son? Yes, mate. Come on, let's go. And Mbeumo, here we go. I don't think it's happened just let me go and have a little check, mate. See if there is anything that's come out during this show here while we're live here. Let's have a little look. No, not at the moment. Thank you, Christoph, for sharing our show out there, man. I really appreciate that. Big up, Christoph. Let me just shout out a few legends who have given us a repost on X here real quick. Thank you so much to you guys for sharing the show around. Let's have a little look. We've had 9 reposts on X. Thank you so much to you legends. We've got a few legends in here as well, all of you. Aaron Homeyard, Paul Nangle, Sanjay, Vincent Bullock, United Flying High, Francois Coq, Kieran, Javier, and John Boy Cat. Thanks so much for sharing the show there on X. Appreciate that. Okay, he reads the wrong chat. Fresh to the count, Pig, green highlighted medical on same account. Excuse me now. Saudi will benefit from him. He can play there for a good few years, as the pace and intensity of the league should be manageable for him, but I'd rather keep him in the squad. What's my nickname for Mbeumo? Kinder Bueno. I don't know. I don't have a fucking... Although I do like a Kinder Bueno. You know, they're very nice chocolate bars, guys, aren't they? Very, very nice chocolate bars, guys, aren't they? So I'm going to call him Kinder Bueno, guys. That's my nickname for him. It's not a very good nickname. Absolutely. Casemiro needs to go, but won't be part of United. Is worth too much to their brands and endorsements. Interesting. Fair enough. Yes, interesting take there. Keeper, striker, midfielder, or wing back next, Piggy? It's got to be a striker. You've got to go for the number 9. I mean, that is the expectation. So at the moment, this is another update here from... it was Marco Alcaraz just before the show that said after wrapping up Bryan Mbeumo deal with Brentford, United will accelerate their efforts to securing a striker while simultaneously offloading 2 to 3 players. So that's the plan, isn't it? Obviously, get rid of Sancho, get rid of Garnacho, get rid of the likes of Anthony if you can. Gungshi, you legend, get in there. How you doing today? Yes, mate. Oh, Bryan Mbeumo. How goes it, the Gungers? Yes, lad. The Don has entered. Still going to be working on a striker, even if we haven't sold the players. We're going to be working on it in the pipeline, and then of course trying to sell Garnacho, sell Sancho, sell Rashford, sell Højlund, sell Anthony. That's what's going to pay for our next signings. We've probably used all the transfer kitty now. We've got to sell players in order to generate cash. So yes, that's what's got to happen. But I don't think it's a case of we have to sell these guys first and then buy players. I think we can start working on the new striker, the new number 9. As long as we're also simultaneously working on getting these players out the door, then that is quite likely that could happen next. And then beyond that, you're looking at goalkeeper would absolutely be a pretty pivotal position for us to strengthen, because Onana's just error prone and not good enough, and we do have to address that. We really have to go and look at getting a Costa or a Martinez, or somebody who's just got a bit of a better track record, somebody who looks more solid, who's going to be more solid for us. Onana's proven to be error prone for us, so he's not the guy. And then in all actuality, there's lots of other positions we should strengthen. Johnny Evans and Lindelof have just left us. We've got injury proneness at the back. We should sign a centre back, in my opinion, just as an extra bit of cover, The central midfield position is a little bit of a concern. Will Bruno be a baller? Will he won't? Will Casemiro be sold? Will he stay? There's some questions there. The central midfield position might be a good position to strengthen, like get a 6 or an 8 or something like that. I do like Adam Wharton, would be a decent sort of signing, I think, for us. There's a Palhinha link as well, that maybe we could get him on a cheap deal on loan, Palhinha, someone like that. Then also, it wouldn't hurt to get a wing back as well, because Dorgu could be really good for us, could also be kind of next Malacia. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. He does look a lot better than that at the moment, but it's still early doors. And then obviously left wing back spot, you've got Diego Leon, who's come in there. Luke Shaw, I suppose, still can play there. Dalot can play over on that side, but it's not ideal. Then on the right wing back spot, obviously you've got Dalot and Mazraoui, but you could probably do with another right wing back, in all fairness. So in an ideal world, guys, we would sign a goalkeeper, a striker, a centre back, and a central midfielder still in this transfer window. That's what would happen in an ideal world, with also a couple of melts on the outgoing too. Like, it would be a dream to move Mason Mount on and get that number 7 shirt back. It would be a dream if we could sell, the likes of Onana as well. Like, there's a couple of players that I'm not really expecting to go, because I don't think there's going to be a whole host of clubs very much interested in them. So goalkeeper-wise is a problem, Is there going to be a club out there who wants to take Onana off of our hands? We might have to sign a new goalkeeper and then still keep Onana for a while as a number 2. That could be what happens. And then obviously the striker position, we still need to look at getting somebody in there who's good enough for the job, and that's going to be difficult, I think, in terms of like getting a deal done, because if it's a Premier League player we want, Vissa or Mateta, it's going to cost a lot. It's going to be difficult to convince them. It could take a while. We obviously want signings in here early before pre-season. So anyway, but lots of players still could be coming in, mate. I wouldn't, if I was you though, I wouldn't get too much your hopes up in regards to signing other positions. The way I look at it, the minimum United are going to do this season or this summer is 4 proper big signings. Obviously Diego Leon, but we're not including that one right now. I mean, like 4 first team, like ready-made right now signings, okay? So the goalkeeper, the striker, and Mbeumo and Cunha. That's it, really. That's all I really expect us to do. And if that is all that we do, it's not that bad. That would be 4 signings. How many signings do you think we'll make this summer, guys? Have your say. I do think we'll get one more than that, though. I think there'll be a cheeky little, X-Factor signing, just somebody random, maybe a Palhinha on loan, maybe a cheap deal for someone, who knows. I think we'll get somebody else, though. So I think we'll get a goalie, a striker, and Mbeumo, Cunha, and somebody else. And we'll see a lot of players outgoing as well. Have we got rid of Sulk Show yet? Do you know what? Do you know what's very sad, Tommy? Sulk Show could refer to about 3 or 4 players, lad. I think you mean Garnacho. Or no, sorry, you mean Sancho, blatantly. You blatantly mean Sancho, yes. But it could still refer to the likes of... That's the truth. It could refer to many players. No, we haven't, but there is positive news about Sancho on the way out, lad. Like, this is a report from a couple of hours ago from Rudy Gillespie. Just says, Fenerbahce are currently the team working hardest to sign Sancho, but they know it won't be a quick deal and it will take patience. Talks with Man United aren't an issue, but both the club and Jadon have a clear strategy on personal terms. Yeah. Jadon's strategy is he's not going anywhere unless he's getting paid at least what he's getting at Manchester United. He's happy to sit around playing FIFA for a year if that's the case. And Fenerbahce's probable strategy is we don't want to pay that much money. So there you go. We might end up doing a deal with them if they're giving us some money, and then maybe we could pay, I don't know, 33% of his wages for the remaining year on his contract. But it's still not a deal, is it? This is the problem. Wages is going to be a problem. Juventus might have a little bit more joy. This is from MEN in regards to Sancho, saying that United's Sancho has already given Juventus the green light amid transfer talks. So maybe he'd be open to joining Juventus. Let's face it, Juventus is like a dream club. It's one of the big Italian giants. It's a brand. So it suits Jadon Sancho down to the ground. You know, he can be an Instagram fanny over there in Turin and have a good old time of it. There you go. In regards to Gashford, we haven't really talked about Gashford today. Last night we did a stream, and obviously we're talking about the potential of Gashford to Barcelona on loan. There's lots of news going on around about that. But still, again, would Man United be open to letting him go on loan, or would they prefer a transfer? Will any of these clubs actually even pay the money up front for Rashford, i.e. a £40 million transfer fee, and then his wages of $350k a week? It's not the most likely scenario. So perhaps a loan move to get him away from this team, get him off of our books, and then have him, you know, playing for somebody else away abroad does actually make the most sense, rather than, you know, keeping him. Definitely try and loan him with an obligation to buy, maybe, if you can't sell him right now. Do I rate Aiden Heaven? I really do rate Aiden Heaven, lad. I really do rate him. I think he's a great young player. He's so young and he looks very good. Obviously, it's early doors. We just haven't seen a lot from him. But I think he's going to have a good, bright future, lad, definitely. It's going to be a match made in heaven for Man United. And then we've got Lenny Yoro as well. If he can stay fit, there is a few concerns about injury proneness at the moment. But if he can stay fit, I think we've got an absolute baller on our hands. You know, we're talking the second coming of Raphael Varane vibes. But let's not hope the second coming of Raphael Varane in terms of injuries as well. But I do think we have ourselves a fantastic player in Yoro as well. 3 signings, 4 signings, 5 signings, you reckon? I respect that. 2 signings. You think we're only going to get 2, which is Mbeumo and Cunha? That would be horrible, lad, wouldn't it? Nah, that's not enough. You see, this is it. This is how we're going to... There's no point judging Manchester United's business at the moment. Let's judge them later on in the window. How are these melts actually going to perform in terms of signing players? 6 signings, need 8. Jamie Vardy, super sub. 100% lad. 100% lad we could do with Jamie Vardy as a super sub. No joke. Yes or no, guys, to Jamie Vardy? Look, we could do with getting another striker in beyond a main number 9. Like, I would like to see Jonathan David coming as well. Here's a question. How many of our squad will we lose to ACN? That could be problematic. ACN? Oh, Africa Cup of Nations. Right, yeah. Well, a couple. If we've got Mbeumo, him. If we've got Onana, him. If we sign Osimhen, I guess him. I don't know, actually. You know, we haven't got that many, lad. We haven't got that many African players, I don't think, actually, that would go. Yep, not getting carried away, Piggy. If these months are pulling our chain, the 3 twats, I mean, it's going to be a number 2 keeper, cut price number 9, and a midfielder at most. Maybe. I think, you know, why does it have to be a cut price number 9, though? Surely it's got to be a marquee number 9. You'd take Vardy? No. No, Vardy, Piggy, too old. I'm not, just, I mean, as a third choice player. Remember when Michael Owen signed for us and he was decrepit and injury prone, but he still managed to score a few key goals for us because he's just a born goal scorer. You know, that's what I'm saying we should do with this guy. Not saying he's going to be playing regularly, but we could certainly do worse than having Jamie Vardy as a third choice option. Particularly if Gashmas Boyland is going to be going out this summer, we're going to need some strikers. We're not just going to need one striker. If Højlund is going on loan or to be sold, we're going to need some strikers. Yes, we've got Xerxes that can play there, Chido Obi, but it wouldn't hurt to bring another one in just as a bit of cover. Got to get top striker now. The front three is cooking. Oh, yes. Need 6 minimum, but it won't happen. We wouldn't sign for us after the abuse his wife got last season. I don't know about that, Phil, lad. It's not the club. Is it? The fans would soon warm to him, lad. You know, we'd be starting to, then they'd start to do chants about how much of a slag Colleen Rooney is instead. You know what I mean? Probably not. But if he signed for us and was playing for us, that would all stop, lad. You know? No, fair enough. I understand what you're saying, but it's almost July. How are we going to get 5 to 6 signings? Well, again, it's dependent on us selling players, so that is an issue, yes. But if Casemiro does go to Saudi, which is maybe being discussed at the moment, if Sancho goes to Juve, if Rashford goes to Barca, if Garnacho goes to Kettering Town, whatever, you know, if these things actually happen, then, you know, look at this list from Flash Far. Great list there, Flash Far, lad. And this is kind of conservative. I like it. This is conservative. This is, I wouldn't say 30 million for Cassie, though, because he's too old and he's only got a year left on his contract. But, like you say, Flash Far, this is a great list. Onana, 30 mil, maybe 20 mil. Shaw, 10 mil. He's not saleable, mate. 0 for sure. He's not going anywhere, mate. Malacia, 10 mil. That's also quite ambitious. Casemiro, 30 mil. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Rashford, 40 mil, absolutely. Anthony, 40 mil is quite high. Sancho, 30 mil. That's ambitious. Højlund, 30 mil. That's conservative. Garnacho, 50 mil, that's about right. So there you go. I mean, I'm not quite sure on your maths there or your overall transfer figures for some of those players, but it's at least a couple of 100 million if you sold all those players to generate into the club for cash, so you can sign more players. Yeah, TK says United signed 3 this window and add another 1 in January, Pig. Love that, could be. Love that. I mean, it's not good enough, though, this summer. We need a bit more. But, you know, I could see it happening if we are a little bit strapped for cash. Damien Pendrick, thank you so much for hitting the subscribe button, Damien. Top lad. Legend. And we're only 19 legends away from hitting 91,000 live on today's stream. I think we can do it, guys. I'm not fucking leaving until we've hit 91,000 subscribers. So everyone, do us the honour of hitting the like button and hit the subscribe button and help us get to 91k during this. The medical's been booked, apparently. Nice one, Phil Berry. Yes, I got some information on that. Just quickly, let me go on X and have a little look, see if Fab or Ornstein or anyone's dropped a cheeky little bomber during the show. There is a new post from Fab, but it's Arsenal and Christian Norgard have reached an agreement. Okay. David Ornstein, yes, he's also reported Arsenal close to agreement with Brentford and Christian Norgard. Still nothing in regards to Mbeumo from them guys then, which is a shame. But there you go. Okay, let's have a little look at the latest updates, what we've got here. Shaw for 5 million. I can't imagine anybody wants him. He's so injury prone. You know, so injury prone. Okay, so let's have a little look at this then. This is the info we've got today in regards to Mbeumo. So Marco Alcaraz reporting literally before the show that exclusive Manchester United have reached an agreement with Brentford to sign Bryan Mbeumo. Deal for 25-year-old attacker worth under 65 million total package. Personal terms already in place. Permission given to do medical. Paperwork stage and then official club announcement. So that all sounds positive, but again, waiting for Ornstein or Fab. Ben Jacobs reporting that United are getting closer to signing Bryan Mbeumo. United want to confirm Mbeumo before returning for pre-season on July the 7th. Second offer of 60 million plus, not far off Brentford's expectations, with add-ons being discussed. So there is an imminent, here we go, expected. This was from Marco before his original tweet that we saw earlier, saying breaking Bryan Mbeumo to United is said to be imminent after a breakthrough in negotiations this morning. Also reports of wages in the region of £165,000 a week. This is the figure that he's got out there. We said close to 150 maybe yesterday, so around about that. And Mbeumo crucial phase, says Rudy Galletti. And Mbeumo to United is entering the crucial phase. United are confident their last bid is enough. Brentford still want a bit more on bonuses. So a couple of million apart in terms of bonuses. That's what he says. You know, this is, again, via Valentin Furlan, who says, deal between United and Brentford for Mbeumo, now only pending add-on structure. So the initial fee may be agreed, potentially just a couple of million to decide how it's going to be structured, but doesn't seem it's a big stumbling block here. They've requested £2 million increase in bonuses during the last meeting, as reported Brentford already working on his replacement. So if you believe this, then Man United have basically put the bid in. We've had the structure, essentially, you know, they've looked at it and said, we actually want an extra £2 million in bonuses. And then they're probably just going to, reach an agreement pretty close, because it's only a couple of million, isn't it? So that's why it's expected. Also, Jamie Jackson at The Guardian reporting that Manchester United are close on 60 million plus deal. This was an hour or so ago to buy Brentford's Bryan Mbeumo. And then below that tweet that he put out, he also put a tweet that said that Brentford expect this to be done. So, you know, it's getting very close. The Guardian, Jamie Jackson reporting that also. So obviously, you know, again, we're waiting for the big dogs, the diamond dogs, of the likes of David Ornstein and Fabrizio to say, here we go, or it's done. But it seems like it's imminent. It seems like it's getting that way. And we just have to sort of obviously get on here to report on what is happening. And it does look like it could be any moment. I mean, we're going to stay on here a bit longer just in case anything does happen right now. Obviously, if anything drops later on as well, when we're not online, we'll jump straight on with the latest news in regards to it being confirmed as a done deal. But just got a little hope that it might be during this show. Who knows? We'll see. Let's get stuck into the chat for a little bit, though. Thank you, every one of you legends, for getting in here. Legends, I'm going to get into the chat for a little bit. Thank you so much for all of you getting in. Have your say now in the live chat. Let's see what you guys are saying and wait for some news, potentially. Got a feeling in Mbeumo, here we go, might be tonight or tomorrow. I've got a similar feeling, you know, Man United Greek fan, from what's being said. I really do. Nice of you to offer to drive Sancho to the airport, Piggy Mate, and Mrs. P making the marmalade sandwich is the deal sealer. Mate, I'll carry him there if he wants to leave. Give Mason Mount Scamcho's wages and make him skipper. You what? Goodness me, Mason Mount's got to be one of the biggest drains on this club in terms of what he's actually inputted back into the football club and what he's paid and how much he costs. He's got to be one of the biggest scammers. He might be a nice guy with a nice smile and work hard and get his head down and work hard, but he's so ineffective, lad. I've had enough of Mason Mount, that's for sure. You think we'll go all in on Ekitike now or Gyokeres? Interesting, Phil Taylor, right? Here's my theory on it, Phil, lad, the goat of darts. Here's my theory on it, though. I believe that Manchester United will go for either Mateta or Visser. This is what I think now, because I think the Gyokeres deal is a little bit too much. Sporting are asking a bit too much. Plus, Gyokeres' intention is to play for Arsenal. We don't want him to, to go to a team he doesn't want to play for. If he wants to play for Arsenal, then there you go. That's it. You've chosen. You've made your bed. Lie in it, lad. Osserman's too much money. Osserman's just too much money. That's not that realistic. Ekitike's too much money. And actually, if you look at Ekitike's stats, yes, he has a lot in terms of what he could do for the future. He's only like 22 and he's very physical and, you know, he's sort of like a bit Isaac-esque. So he could be really good. But it's still a bit of a gamble getting a player from the Bundesliga to come over to the Premier League and expect them to be clinical right from the off. It seems like we're trying to get Gashmus Boylan 2.0 in that deal, paying over 60, 70 million or whatever for that guy who's not even proven clinical in the league. So if it was down to me, I'd be looking at Mateta, I'd be looking at Visser, even Ollie Watkins. Particularly Ollie Watkins, potentially with a swap deal for one of our players going in the opposite direction. You know, makes a little bit of a sense, doesn't it? So I would be looking at proven Premier League players ahead of those guys now, because those guys that we're talking about, Ekitike, Gyokeres, Osserman, for a start, the Premier League proven experience is not there, but secondly, the prices for those guys is probably going to be higher than the prices for the likes of Visser and Mateta anyway, and these guys. So it seems to me like it's not even that guaranteed that they do well. Even though Gyokeres and Osserman, these guys, much more proven. Ekitike more so. Like, he's less likely to take to the Premier League. So Mateta's higher up the list for me. Visser's higher up the list for me, particularly with Mbeumo coming. You know, if you get Visser and Mbeumo in the same team again, that's guaranteeing you communication between the two players. It's guaranteeing you goals. So I think, you know, Visser would be an excellent signing. And obviously they've just got a new manager. They're going to be going down a different path. If you're a player like Visser and your mate Mbeumo's just gone to United and there's an offer on the table, Brentford looking to generate as much cash as they can. Obviously it might cost 40, 50 million, who knows. But if you're Brentford, it's the start of a new era. The players at the football club might be more prepared to leave, seeing as Thomas Frank's just ended an era for the football club there and has left. And it could happen, is what I'm saying. It could happen. So even though we've just signed Mbeumo off of them and they might be reluctant to let another player go straight away. I mean, without Thomas Frank, I hate to say this, without Thomas Frank, Brentford have got to be one of the favourites to go down this season, or at least have a struggling season. I don't expect them to finish mid-table and do well and, you know, be duffing up teams. They lost Mbeumo, that's a lot of goals. They're going to have to replace it. Depends how they spend. I'm not convinced with their new manager at all. And I think they're actually going to really struggle. So it's kind of a good time to jump ship if you are a Brentford player. Chris, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel there. Chris MFL, love that lad. Yes, mate. I saw that as well, Disco Dave. So Wilfred Ndidi, yes or no, live chat. Wilfred Ndidi, yes or no? It's a big yes from me. You know why? Because he can be had for £9 million. Apparently he's got a relegation release clause in his contract for £9 million. So because obviously Leicester got relegated, we can sign him for 9 mil. That's a player that was linked to us a couple of years ago, probably talking 50 mil. You know, so 40 mil or something like that. Like, this guy is a good, physical, Premier League proven midfielder. He's, you know, probably won't set the world alight at United, but for what United need, actually getting a few extra, midfielders in, maybe, or not a few extra midfielders, but an extra midfielder in there, it would be quite a good signing for us, I think. Smells like top 4 next season. Love that. Yeah. He's not the same anymore, says Ezio. Fair enough. I mean, he is. Yeah, fair enough. He's obviously not been as good, but he's still a good player, mate. He'll still be a good addition to the squad, especially for £9 million. It's not a big risk, is it? £9 million. Tommy Boyle says, is there a mystery deal? I think it will be Ousmane Diamonde. Interesting, Tommy. I like your style, lad. Yes, very interesting. Do you think Højlund could be good with Mbeumo and Cunha beside him? Better, Martin, better. But ultimately, I've seen his movements. I've seen his finishing. You know, I'm not convinced by it, lad. So even if you could get him all the best service in the world, he's still not going to score as many goals as somebody more clinical. You know, what we need to do is maximise the chances created. Maximise the goals from the chances created. Højlund doesn't maximise anything, mate, unfortunately. Yeah, absolutely for the squad, no-brainer. Good shout, I think so too, for 9 million. Yeah, consider his age. Yeah, fair enough. Also, there's some injury proneness and stuff. But we're talking £9 million. I mean, that's nothing. That's nothing for a good Premier League proven player who a couple of years ago would have cost 50. You know, okay, I understand he's not in the same, or maybe at quite at the same level. But it's a squad player, you know. It's a good midfielder who can play in that midfield too. What United should do, won't do, it's just go for other players that are not stupid amounts of money. They should go for players that have been relegated. Exactly, Rant, exactly. We've talked about this. And yesterday we were talking about the situation at Lyon. And Lyon have been relegated to League Two. They're hundreds of millions in debt. They've had all these financial issues and they've been punished by the league. And they've been sent down to League Two. Now, if that stays and the appeal is a failure, their appeal against it fails, then there's every chance that there's going to be a bit of a fire sale at Lyon as well. There's a couple of good players we could potentially go and get, the likes of Almeida, Fofana, Mikatadze. You know, there's actually some really decent players we could go and pinch. So players like that, and like you say, players who have been relegated as well, is not a bad shout. That's why we were interested in the likes of fucking hell, what's his name? My brain's had a complete blank. What the fuck? My brain's turned to jelly, guys. Liam Delap. Sorry, guys. I was having a struggle there. We're going to have some intensity and energy at the life of Brian. No worries, Martin Fay. Thanks for asking it, lad. Just live stream here till the here we go. No biggie. Well, I'll stay on good for a good bit. You know, I'll see what's going on, mate. But ultimately, we could be on for a long old time if that's the case. So I will stay on for a bit, though, see if there is a here we go coming from Fab. It is expected it could be today. Cherky, that ship has sailed there. Tolisso, not bad option yet. Tolisso, not a bad option, I suppose, as well. Not a huge fan, but he's not a bad option. Højlund looks like a sheep in a lion's enclosure last season. Spot on there, very true. And DD championship level now. I'm not so convinced, lad. I'm not so convinced. We need a midfielder who is progressive passer of the ball, Piggy. Well, that's going to be Bruno Fernandes for us, isn't it? You don't mind we go for cheap options in other positions as long as we get a solid goalkeeper and a proven goal scorer. Well said, Mr. Marks. Those are the key areas to strengthen for us. Goalie, striker, and Mbeumo and Cunha would be enough, really. We wouldn't even need to go and get anyone else, I suppose. Flashfast says Martinez, Mazzi, Yoro, Delict, Martinez, Armad, Bruno, Dorgu, and Mbeumo, Cunha. Excuse me? What does that even mean, lad? That's just a bunch of names. It's Højlund, not Højlund. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. Get Matic. You what? Good afternoon, Mike Blakemore. How you doing? I agree. Listen, it's worth a punt. People were saying Ndidi's finished. I don't buy that. You don't lose quality over the period of a year, you know. I mean, obviously he might have declined, but I mean, how old is he? What is he, 29? I don't even think Ndidi's like well past it at all. Let's have a look how old he is. 28. What the fuck are we saying here, guys? What are we saying? 28. He's obviously good. He's obviously still fine. There's nothing wrong. He's 28, guys. He's not 33. He's 28. Yeah. So I think he's still got a bit of to offer. Look, the key thing is here, we probably would not be interested in Wilfred Ndidi this summer unless they got relegated and unless there was a 9 million release clause in his contract, a relegation release clause, which there is. So if this guy's available for 9 million, yes, we should try and get him because it's 9 million quid for a proper 28-year-old established Premier League player. It might not set the world alight for us, but he can play that, that midfield role for us, which is very, very important, especially if Casemiro might be going. Yeah. Definitely, he could do, Marks. He could do. I mean, I think probably Mainoo's best position for us would probably be as, the CDM or the, like the 6 or the 10 or one of the 10s. I could actually see Mainoo being utilised off the bench quite a lot this season and in certain games, deputising for the likes of Cunha and Mbeumo. Those sorts of guys. I could actually see that. I think that might be his best position. Playing the number 8 role is a bit trickier. He's not the most mobile, I suppose. But he could certainly play more of a sitting role as a sort of like the cover, the defensive cover, and then he could also play a 10 role. I think he's very good at that. Also, he's just got a bit about him, great passer, great vision, that sort of stuff. So I think he could do that well. 28 is prime, yes, mate. There you go. Exactly. You happen to have a friend in Rome. Oh, really, Greg? Nice one, mate. Nice one. Is this a rebuild or a rewind? Says MB Creator. Okay, I understand what you're saying, but that's only one of the players that, is maybe a little bit past it or has had maybe the best years behind him, or he could revitalise himself at United. Cunha and Mbeumo have still got the best years to come, Let's get our club back. Emi Martinez takes a trophy and turns it into a phallic gesture. Totally disrespectful. Okay, I thought that was funny, mate, but fair enough. I mean, yes, he did hold it down to his groin there, the golden glove, and make it look like he had a golden glove as a schlong. But I thought that was quite funny, mate. At the end of the day, he's a bit of a shithouse, isn't he, Emi Martinez? He's a proper shithouse lad. And that's kind of what you've got to say is he's a shithouse lad. So, there will be some moments like that. If we were to sign him, he might get sacked, he might get sent off. I don't know. At the end of the day, I think he's a lot better than what we've got right now. But he's a bit of a wind-up merchant, yeah. Keep saying it, but Horner needs to go on loan to the Championship. Well, I'd rather he went somewhere like, I don't know, one of the top leagues and got game time, but fair enough. I mean, that would sort him out. It's a very physical, good, strong league. 9 million for a 28-year-old, you'd have to bring him in. Exactly, Disco Dave, mate. Cheeky relegation release clause in his contract. 9 mil, scoop him up, boys, scoop him up. Phil says, yes, we need to start shifting this United dog food pal or pedigree chums. Definitely not Winslow Prime. More like Netto own brand dog chow. Oh, I love it. Could Mainoo do a job in midfield? Definitely, lad. In this case, 28 Piggy, I'll take Ndidi. Yet Moise Kean is a beast. He's improved so much. His stats are very good over in Italy, lad, I have to say. His stats are good, but he wasn't very good in the Prem, was he? For Everton, lad. But his stats are good now in Italy. But Italy is a different sort of animal. 9 million is still for Ndidi. Spot on there, Mr. Marks. Let's go, Fen Normie there. Indeed bargain price. Absolutely, he's one of those African players who's 28, but not really 28. We need some solid head kickers. I don't know. You just made me think of something, though. He'd be off to the Africa Cup of Nations as well, though, wouldn't he, in Jan? If Manchester United and the fans were realistic, we should just be going for players that are not high-value players. We're not in the Champions League. Let's go for a rebuild. I like it. Polar Sports in Portugal saying Porto looking for a new keeper. Diogo Costa inbound, perhaps. And Batiste getting sponsor investment boost. Hopefully pay for Anthony. Yes. We heard something similar yesterday, actually, when we did an late-night show in regards to Batiste trying to raise the capital for this deal. Also, I think they're looking at selling a player, aren't they, as well at the moment, to try and maybe raise the cash for Anthony. Diogo Costa, I'd absolutely take Diogo Costa. In fact, I think I might prefer the Diogo Costa signing to Martinez. Martinez is a Golden Glove winner. He is proven Premier League player. He is 32, he is super experienced in the league, what we need right now. But also, he is a bit of a shithouse, which is good in some ways, but it might cost us sometimes. A little bit eccentric. He look at what he did last day of the season for us, getting sent off and against us. Zlatan said, don't sell Elanga. Yes, I know. Well, Elanga should have stayed, really, at this football club. Eric Ten Hag, terrible judgments. Yeah, you liked Trophy Dick. Unless something happens with Onana, he's going nowhere. He's on too much of a good screw. Hey, fair enough, Paula. Well, if a new goalkeeper comes in, Onana might want to leave, lad. That's it. It's not fun sitting around and not playing, is it? Moisey Keane, slices realistically, I think it will take United at least 2 years to be back. Oh, 100% Sly, 100%. Hey, yo, Adrian, I did it! Ain't nothing gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning's done! I completely agree with you there, Sly. 2 years at least minimum. That's if everything goes to plan, everything goes well. The prima donna melts are sold. We get good signings that hit the ground running and flourish. That's if everything goes well, it'll still be a couple of years. At least. Probably 3 or 4. You'd even take Jordan Pickford. I'd take him over Onana 100%, but again, we should probably aim higher, but he is a good keeper. Afternoon, Lee Heesman. Yes, mate, what's going on? Have you bought your foam finger for Onana next year? Looks like Onana's going nowhere. I haven't, mate, but I'm not doing that. No, I'm expecting he will go once we sign someone. I know the situation at the moment is Andre Onana seemingly wants to stay at United for the coming season. That's what we've heard. But I think that could change, obviously, after we've had a conversation with him, after Ruben's had a conversation with him when they're back for pre-season, and also if we sign another goalie. If we sign a first-team goalie, he knows he's not going to play. We've already got a couple of backups. What's he going to be, a number 2? Surely he doesn't want to do that. I think he wants to be playing, so I think he'll be open for a move, personally. It's just whether or not someone wants to take him on, which is a big if. Mainu will shine next season with these new players. Oh, yes. Mainu has a 6, 8 or 10. I think 6 or 10 is better for Mainu, but I still think he could do the job at 8. I know a lot of people say he's not mobile enough, not good enough there, but I still think he could do the job. I see him as a very good quality player when it comes to the passing, the vision, and also, okay, maybe not the most mobile, whatever, but I think he could do it. Juventus want to swap us Vlahovic and another for Højlund. Yeah, I saw that. That's a guff story, that one, Bottom Bliss, lad. I saw that. I can't stand it. I don't think that's a good signing for us. Not at all. Vlahovic, nah, not interested. He's injury prone. He's on big money. There's a reason they don't want him, lad. He's not even that clinical. We looked at his stats the other day. He's pretty average, lad. Indeedy. Nice. Your FIFA team's called Yes Indeedy Do. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. Let's go. Cardinal Jimenez. Wow, Gregory getting in there raw. And Mbeumo, here we go. Let's go, Piggy. Sam, are you twisting my nips there, lad? Digitally speaking. Guys, we're only 10 likes away from 300 likes. Everyone take a second and give us a like spike. Every like helps the channel. Boosts us up and helps us compete against clickbait wankstains. So give us a little like if you haven't done. Also get yourself subscribed. Are we at 91k just yet? Let's have a look. Oh, we're 11 people away, guys. We're only 11 subscribers away from hitting 91,000. So get yourself subscribed if you're new here. What's this? Fabrizio Romano says, new social media hint by Benjamin Sesko as the striker has started following Arsenal on Instagram today. Oh, that's quite interesting, isn't it? Sesko started following Arsenal today, which means that maybe the Gyokeres path could be clear if they're going to get that Sesko deal done. That's from Fabrizio Romano just a short while ago, 10 minutes. He's got a picture of, Sesko following Arsenal today. So that's quite interesting, guys. Bit of an update there. Thank you so much, Martin Fay. I appreciate that very much. He says, great channel, mate. Thank you, Martin. Okay, nothing new in regards to from Fab or Ornstein on this Mbeumo deal, unfortunately. Okay, let's get into the chat for a few more minutes then, guys. I'm not sure if it will be today that this is happening, unfortunately. As in today, while we're live right now, that this is happening. It might be a bit later, a couple of hours, or tonight, or tomorrow. Obviously it might not be now. So we'll stick on for a few more, see what happens, but ultimately it might not be right now. I would take him, to be honest, Sheikh Hadi, yes, but I don't think that he would come to us. And I'm pretty sure Arsenal will want him, won't they? But Martinez played at Arsenal for 10 years and no one even knows, says PJ. Do you remember when they used to have, who did they have? They had like 3 really great keepers. Was it Szczesny, Martinez, and somebody else as well? They had all at the same time, like 3 really good. I can't remember now. You told you Vlahovic is average. Yeah, stats-wise, injury-wise, doesn't really add up for me. MB says Menu's a 10 for me. Maybe later say 28 onwards to number 8. Fair play. I think he could do the 10 for us as well. I think that's probably where he's best at the minute. Keep Casemiro class when match fit, good for Collier and Kone. I think so too. I'd rather keep Casemiro around this season and just let him go on a free in a year. It's good cover. It's good experience. You know, we don't have enough winners in the team. He's a proper winner. People love having him in the squad because he's won everything. Vlahovic has just come back anyway. Wouldn't want him in the team. Oh, fair play, lad. Steven Shipman, you legend, getting in there raw. Mainu looked ripped, Piggy. Get in there, Mainu. Yeah, I think he's a professional lad. You know, he's gonna develop well. Who knows? You never really know how these youngsters are going to develop. They could turn into Adnan Januzaj, or they could turn into Cristiano Ronaldo. It depends a lot on their mentality and their own work ethic, etc. They might get Cisco because he's 6'5", which gets Arteta stiff. We need more exits. Leno, yes, maybe it was Leno. I don't know. Can't quite remember now. It probably was Fabianski. I don't know about that, but they did have a few really good keepers at one point, as in like first teamers that all could have played, I suppose. Piggy Pickford is not my first choice goalkeeper. If worse comes to worse, I'll take him. He's definitely not my first choice. He's probably like my 10th choice, in all honesty. No disrespect. My first choice would be Donnarumma, but that's impossible pretty much. My second choice, realistic, would probably be Costa, and then maybe Martinez. I don't know. I've gone back and forth between those two as to who I would prefer. Martinez obviously is a bit eccentric, but he's Premier League proven, more experienced. Costa just seems like a quality keeper, and he's a bit younger, and you know, could be a really good signing, but again, could also be a bit more of a gamble. Bit random, but where can I buy some darts? You bought a board Wayne's birthday. You got one left. Oh, Paula, get on eBay for some cheap darts. What's that good one on eBay called? Darts Corner, is it? No. What's the one on eBay that's really cheap? Shit. Anyway, forget that now. But yes, eBay darts, also probably like Red Dragon, or maybe like darts. Whatever, yeah, Target darts, I don't know. I always buy my darts off of like Red Dragon personally when there's deals on, so yeah, if any player not wanted at United is looking for sympathy, they can find it in the dictionary between shit and syphilis. You'd sign Restes from Toulouse, get in there, Kieran Germain, lad. Go on. Are you French by any chance there, my friend? I'm just wondering if you've got this scouting book on this guy, mate. That'd be awesome. Casemiro's a leader with better forwards. He'll love it. Yeah, Piggy, please watch the Mbeumo transfer update. Hey, Stanley. Right, okay. I'll do a quick rundown of what we've just discussed in this video, and then we'll be looking at wrapping up this stream pretty soon. But yeah, big ups to the legends in the chat here. We're 8 subscribers away. Only 8 subscribers away from 91,000. Hit the subscribe, you legends. Okay, Kieran says, no, I just play way too much Football Manager. Oh, okay. Kieran St. Germain. You'll be tuning in at the late news, Piggy. Thank you, Naz. So yes, what we do on this channel, if you're new and you're not aware, we basically will be on here most times around lunchtime. We came in here a little bit later today, but usually around lunchtime. We're also on here about 10 p.m. at night as well, UK time. So click the bell icon, get yourself involved, and we'll give you all the updates then. But also, if there's anything breaking, like a big here we go in between, we'll jump on then straight away as well and talk about the breaking news. Right, I'll read a couple more out then. Not just... Oh, no, hang on. Sorry, I was going to do a rundown of what we discussed. So, Marco Alcaraz reporting that Manchester United have reached an agreement with Brentford to sign Bryan Mbeumo. Deal for 25-year-old tackle worth under 65 million total package. Personal terms already in place and permission given to do medical. Paperwork stage and then official club announcement. That's what he says. Ben Jacobs said Manchester United are getting closer to signing Bryan Mbeumo. United want to confirm Mbeumo before returning pre-season 7th of July. Second offer of £60 million, not far off Brentford's expectations, with add-ons being discussed. And then there's also a report from Marco Alcaraz again saying Bryan Mbeumo to United is said to be imminent after a breakthrough in negotiations this morning. Reports of wages around 165k. Rudy Galletti says the Mbeumo deal to United is entering the crucial phase. Man United are confident their last bid's enough. Brentford still want a bit more bonuses, 2 million, but it doesn't appear to be a deal breaker. That's good. Also, Valentin Furlan reporting that deal between United and Brentford for Bryan Mbeumo now only pending add-on structure as well, as per Rudy. Jamie Jackson of The Guardian reports Manchester United close on £60 million plus deal to buy Brentford's Bryan Mbeumo, and he also commented on that, saying Brentford are expecting it to go ahead. There's thoughts that we'll be looking for a striker once the Mbeumo deal's done as well. Here is another report from Marco Alcaraz saying after wrapping up Mbeumo deal with Brentford, United will accelerate their efforts to secure a striker while simultaneously offloading 2 or 3 players. So we're expected to try and sell Sancho, Rashford, Garnacho maybe first of all. Sancho here is linked heavily with a move to several clubs, but this is a link to Fenerbahce. So they've apparently got big interest. It's just going to be an issue in terms of wages, so probably not. This one, however, maybe has a bit more steam, which is United's Jadon Sancho's already given Juventus the green light amid transfer links. There you go. So that's kind of the latest news right there, folks. That's the latest news. Let's read a couple more out, though, and just check the updates again one last time before we wrap it up. See if anything's come through, which it hasn't at the moment. I bet you as soon as we leave, we get a friggin' here we go from Fab or something. It would surprise me. Anyway, it's looking like there's a lot of other hosts on YouTube saying Mbeumo is close. Yeah, it does look close, mate. It does look close. Mr. Big, I can genuinely tell you this is the first winner in the last 3 years where United have bought a couple of decent players, another couple of good additions. Amarin might be able to turn it around. I agree with you there, Amit. I mean, we've had a couple of good signings, right? Like Mazraoui turned out to be a good one for us. De Ligt has big potential, you know, but by and large, they're not the right sort of signings that we've signed. We need these sorts of Premier League proven ballers who we know can sort of have a positive impact because they do it week to week to week for their Prem teams. Need another couple of signings like this, yet at a bare minimum. Yep, Strand Larson from Celta Vigo. And Mbeumo needs Visser with him to shine. I'm with you there, Res Dog. I think that's who we should try and sign. I genuinely do. I think he wouldn't even cost the earth. You what? Have we signed Mbeumo yet? Not yet, the Pro Dog. Not yet, mate. Not yet, but it's expected imminently. There could be a here we go today from the likes of Fab, for instance. Thank you very much, Man United Greek fan. Yes, they are. If we sign a couple more Prem proven, we'll finish top 4. I have no doubt. Love that. Need to get a striker next and hope that Dorgu and Dallo are up to it at wing-back. Good point. Wouldn't hurt to get another wing-back for us as well. Right, guys, I'm going to wrap this stream up then, just in the chance that maybe, you know, shortly there is some news. I'll jump back on if there is. But if not, I'll see you tonight around about 10 p.m. for the latest updates. Thank you so much to everybody who's got in here and chatted with me today. You're a set of legends. Thank you, the Bacon Brigade and the community here. What a community of legends. Thank you, everyone, for having your say as well. Nice one, Compost Smurf, Bottom Bliss, and everyone. Thanks for the bants. Thanks for the chats. Thanks to all the members in the channel for supporting the show. Thank you to all the moderators for moderating the chat. Paul Warby, thank you so much, mate. Let's go, Paul Warby, lad. Thank you. He says, keep it up with a super sticker. Thank you so much, Paul Warby, mate. Really appreciate that. Thank you for the tippage there. You're a legend. Thank you, Paul. Get some love in there for him at the end. Thank you, Paul, lad. Everybody else as well. Daniel, Bottom Bliss, Man United Greek fan, all the mods, all the members. Shout out to the Hamada. That's it from me, guys. You can follow us on Insta, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Kick at Flying Pig United. Links are in the description. Also, come back and have your say after this video's finished. The debate does not have to stop there. Come back once it's done and get yourself in the not live comments with your thoughts and opinions, and we'll keep talking there. Nice one, Dave. Nice one, Hoodstar. Nice one, Uvu. Nice one, Wayne. And everyone else as well. Imminently, Bryan Mbeumo is imminent to join Manchester United. We'll keep you posted. Hopefully it's very soon. Next 24 hours, hopefully, we'll see that we get some sort of announcement. Probably won't be done and official until the 1st of July anyway, due to that PSR refreshment guff. But yes, it's looking very good, guys. And Mbeumo to United is, I don't know, 98% there? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But it looks like it could be any moment we hear a proper here we go or an Ornstein bomber. We'll jump on if it is the case. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. And remember, Piggy loves you. And also remember, when the seagulls follow the trawler, this is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much. Get in there, you beauties. Thank you so much to all the patrons here for supporting the channel on patreon.com/flyingpigunited. As a thank you, all you legends will be appearing on this outro list. Get in there. Once again, thank you to all the YouTube members, but one of the best ways you can support the channel is on patreon.com, so check it out. Patreon.com/flyingpigunited. And once again, a big thank you to all the legends that do support the channel on Patreon. Get in there.